So the Poppy Playtime devs just gave us a bunch of new interesting Discord messages, some about new Chapter 5 characters and the future of the Poppy Playtime series. And we also got some new Poppy Playtime merch news, along with some potential new updates on the Poppy Playtime spinoff, Project Playtime. The Mob Entertainment devs like to come into the Poppy Playtime Discord server every now and then, and we just got a little bit of info on something that Mob Entertainment might be planning for some time in the future. And it relates back to a few months ago when on Mob Entertainment's Twitter, it slowly started to get taken over by the character The Doctor.
Do I feel something squirming its way beneath my skin?
Who was one of the side villains from Chapter 4 of Poppy Playtime. And Mob Entertainment's Twitter account slowly started to get hacked by The Doctor. And it led to them posting a video on their YouTube channel of a Q&A with The Doctor.
Dr. White.
But anyways, a lot of the fans were wondering, when is something like this going to happen again? One of the devs came into the Discord server and said, I mean, the Doctor takeover we did in our socials this year was probably my favorite thing out of anything I can talk about. And then one of the fans said, real, you guys should do it again, lol. And then Tyler, a different dev, said that he knows that Baldwin wants to. Baldwin is the voice actor for the Doctor.
Have I told ye the tale of the pineapple under the sea?
And he's actually also the voice actor for Dog Day.
If you like to hear from your favorite daddy computer husband.
So they probably will end up doing something like this in the future. It could be for the Doctor again, because like they said, the voice actor probably wants to. And there's also something else that we can learn from this message, and it's that Mob Entertainment is probably planning something like the Doctor takeover again, because the dev Ben said that it was his favorite thing that they did out of the things that he can talk about. So there's probably something for Chapter 5 that they're going to do, but just can't say yet. But now moving on to something else, Project Playtime. Everybody who's a fan of Poppy Playtime has heard of this game before. It came out in December of 2022, and it was pretty popular for the first few weeks. And it got some consistent updates for the first few months it was out. But the updates started coming out slower and slower, and then in October of 2023, we got Phase 3 of Project Playtime. And that was the last time the game has been updated since then. And again, that was over 2 years ago at this point. And there's still a lot of fans of the game that do play it to this day. And all of those fans are wondering, when is this game going to get updated again? And I think it's one of the most frequently asked questions in the Discord server whenever the devs come in. And somebody asked exactly that. When is Project Playtime going to get updated? And Tyler said, I don't have any updates about Project Playtime, so everyone can stop asking. Now to me, it sounds like that Mob Entertainment is getting fed up with all these questions about Project Playtime. So in my opinion, I think the game is actually just over. Maybe after the last game in the series comes out, which could be Chapter 5, they'll start updating Project Playtime again. But then again, we do have a different spinoff coming out most likely next year, which is Poppy Play Park. But honestly, nobody even knows what's really going on with this game. Not even Mob Entertainment themselves know. And not too long ago, somebody else asked about Project Playtime to Zach Bellinger, the creator of Poppy Playtime. And they just asked, are you able to say anything about Project Playtime? And he said, it's a whole thing. My theory is that the Project Playtime player count is so low that there's not really even a point in investing in the game anymore. As more phases came out, the player count still just went down and down more. And obviously, every time a new phase did come out, the player count would spike, but the spike kept getting lower and lower as the phases came out. Unless they do just something completely different with the game when they next update it to bring more players back into it. And they also have the Poppy Playtime movie to focus on, so Project Playtime is probably just really far down on the list of things that they are focusing on. But now moving on to a different message, and it relates to the next teaser we're getting for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. So usually whenever there's a holiday like Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Halloween, or Christmas, Mob Entertainment posts a drawing on their Twitter, and the drawing has a bunch of the characters from different Poppy Playtime games, and it usually has something to do with the next chapter in the series. Like last Halloween, we just got a drawing that shows a bunch of the characters, and it actually hints at new ones for Chapter 5, like this human hand behind a tree. And Thanksgiving is this Thursday, so does that mean that we're going to be getting a new Thanksgiving drawing? Probably. Last Thanksgiving, we got this drawing, which doesn't look like much at first. But if you look out the window, we can see Doughy the Dough Man's hat, and this was before we even knew he was going to be a character. And Amber, as a Poppy Playtime dev, is actually the one who draws all these photos. And someone asked, Amber, when's your next drawing coming out? Is it out on Thanksgiving or Christmas? And she said, I can't really say, I'm sorry. And it's pretty obvious that she would say that because the Poppy Playtime devs, I'm sure, aren't really just allowed to give out information whenever they want. But I think that there's almost 100% chance that there is going to be one that comes out on Thanksgiving, hinting at possible new characters. I think it'll be a lot more centered around the human hand that we've been seeing a lot, because out of nowhere in September, Mob just dropped this photo on their Twitter, showing a human hand reaching out to the prototype's hand. And on Halloween, again, we got the drawing of the human hand behind the tree. So I think on Thanksgiving, we'll learn more about that hand. But now, moving on to some new Poppy Playtime merch news. A new Baba Chops plush is coming out pretty soon. So here it is, and I'm going to be honest, it does not look good. It just looks nothing like how Baba Chops looks in the game. And there was a little bit of drama over this plushie on Twitter with people just saying it looked ugly. It looks like some sort of off-brand plushie, but no, this is actually made by the real Mob Entertainment. Let me know if you guys are going to buy this because I'm probably not going to. It's $16 and it just says it's coming soon, so we don't know exactly when it's coming out. And Culturefly, the company that helps Mob Entertainment make their merch, posted this photo a few days ago showing a shark, dragon, and alligator, obviously hinting at new Nightmare Critter plushies that are coming soon. Maggie, Mako, Simon Smoke, and Alistair Gator. And then not too long after that was posted, like maybe only a day or two, this photo was posted showing the actual plushies in a very dark room. I hope they look better than the Baba Chops one. They're releasing November 24th, so let me know if you guys are going to buy them. But now earlier in this video at the very beginning, I was talking about a new Chapter 5 character. Well, what was I talking about when I said that? A different Discord message from Amber. Going back to the Halloween drawing that was made a few weeks ago on Halloween, somebody asked about one of the faces saying, "Amber, who is this? I forgot." Because not all of the faces on the pumpkins are actual Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 characters. Some of them are other references to games, movies, or memes.
They're morons. You're idiots! 6'7", 6'7", 6'7".
And she said, "I can't say," with a smiley face. Now, if this wasn't supposed to be hinting at a new Chapter 5 character, she would probably say, "Oh, it's a reference to this meme," or "It's just a random face." But she is physically not allowed to say what that face is. And now if we think about it, there's a lot of pumpkins in this photo, so I don't think all of them can be new Chapter 5 characters. Just like how on last Halloween there was some pumpkins with random faces and some that hinted at Chapter 4 characters. Like this one's just a random face, but this one was hinting at Doughy the Dough Man. So I think that this one is similar to the Doughy the Dough Man one from last year, like how it's hinting at a new Chapter 5 character. And we do have a lot of Chapter 5 leaked character names over the past few months. So what could this new character's name be based off its face? I think that one of the names it could be is Goober Guts. I mean, this really is a shot in the dark, but I put it against all the other leaked names we got for Chapter 5, and none of them seem to really match up as good as Goober Guts does. But like I said, it's a shot in the dark. We don't know what this guy's body looks like. We don't know if he even has a body. He could be a completely different character or a character whose name we don't know yet and didn't get leaked. But I mean, I don't know how much characters they can really put in Chapter 5 because we already have so many. And that's just based off all the leaked names we got. All of these might not be for Chapter 5. Some of them could be for Poppy Play Park. Maybe even for the Poppy Playtime movie or just new merch or something. I don't know. And now this final segment of the video stems from a Discord message, but it kind of leads into a bigger conversation. And that conversation is Chapter 5 going to be the last game in the Poppy Playtime series? I was curious about what everyone thought, so I did a community post, and it seems like most people thought that Chapter 5 is going to be the final game. But a few days ago, the dev Tyler was talking in the Discord server, and when he had to leave, he said that he's going to leave and go work on Chapter 9. Now, obviously, he's joking. This is not my reasoning for why Chapter 5 is not going to be the last game. So do I think Chapter 5 is going to be the last game in the Poppy Playtime series? And the answer to that is no. And I don't mean that they're going to do Chapter 5 and then they're going to do spin-offs like Poppy Play Park. I mean that there will be an actual Poppy Playtime Chapter 6. First of all, Chapter 6 has literally been confirmed for us over a year ago. Zach Bellinger, the creator of Poppy Playtime, was talking in the Discord server to the fans, and he literally outright confirmed Chapter 6. Now, he did put it in quotation marks, and he didn't actually say the words Chapter 6, but he still said 6 after he was talking about Chapter 5, very heavily implying that he was talking about Chapter 6. And in the Poppy Playtime Steam page, nowhere does it say that this is going to be the final chapter. And I feel like if it was actually the final chapter of Poppy Playtime, they would heavily advertise that. I don't even think they would call it Chapter 5. They would probably call it the final chapter. And let's be honest, if the Poppy Playtime series ends, Mob Entertainment doesn't really have any other games to make. Now, obviously, they're going to do spin-offs and stuff, but they don't have any other games outside of the Poppy Playtime universe. And Zach Bellinger, the creator of Poppy Playtime, has been talking about for years how Mob Entertainment is going to be more than just the Poppy Playtime studio, but we haven't really seen them do anything else besides Poppy Playtime. Maybe they're just going to finish up Poppy Playtime and then move on to something else. But I feel like that's very risky, considering that if it fails, then what are they going to do? They can't really just go back to Poppy Playtime. They already said it was over. But I can see why a lot of you would think that Chapter 5 is going to be the last game, considering that we're fighting the prototype in this game, and he's pretty much the final boss of the entire series. And we're going down to the labs in Chapter 5, which to our knowledge, that's the final place that there is in the factory that we haven't gone to in the games. But like I said, to our knowledge, there could be another even more secret hidden area in the factory that we go to in Chapter 6. But I don't know, I'm leaning towards more the Chapter 6 is going to happen side than it's not. But I'm not like fully 100% sure that Chapter 6 is going to happen. Chapter 5 could still be the last game. But we know for sure that they're doing spin-offs and stuff. But tell me what you guys think in the comments. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're excited for Chapter 5. Goodbye.